Welcome and thank you for joining Happy Hour Holidaze. This is your host, Manny Fresh. We got our co-host, Sean Febre, and we're your go-to podcast for business, entrepreneurship, and life stories. We're here to inspire. We're here to motivate. We want you to be able to possibly leave your job and build your own dream. Today in studio, we got one of the top real estate investors in Tampa Bay. We got Damon Hart. What's up, Damon?
What's up, brother? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course, man. We're really excited to having you on the show. Tell us a little bit about your story and what inspired you to start doing real estate investing.
Well, I mean, first with the intro saying one of the top real estate investors in Tampa Bay, I never would have thought like at the time when I was playing Monopoly when I was a kid that I would actually be, buying houses growing up. But man, it's been a journey and it's awesome because how I got started was just like I played Monopoly when I was a kid, really just growing up. And I remember I would always want to be the banker because I was like, hey, I could control the money. And, I figured if it all went to shit, I could have.
Yeah.
If it all went shit,
don't matter.
If it all went to shit, I can at least give myself a loan. Right?
Yeah.
That's how I looked at it. So that was good, man. And, and then as I just went on, in the 80s, I grew up in the 80s, Trump was the man. And I remember I grew up in New York City, and I remember seeing Donald Trump, and I always asked my mom, what does he do? And he was in real estate. So I said, I don't know what that guy does. If he's in real estate and people are being successful doing that, that's what I wanted to do. So,
wow, that's
I just kind of got started from there.
How'd you buy your first house then?
My first house, I bought 100% financing, but before I got into that,
100% financing.
Yeah.
No money down,
dude. Yeah.
How the fuck did you do that?
Well, I mean, at the time, I bought my first house right out of college.
What year are we talking about here?
This is probably somewhere around 04,
Okay.
05.
Damn, so you were approaching the housing crisis, right?
Yeah,
there, right?
exactly. It was right before our son was born, and I bought my first house, and I was working for a mortgage company. And I remember, getting 100% financing because everybody was, right? All you needed was like a
stated income loan, right?
Stated income, bro. Just go in there with a pulse, and then you get it. So I did. And I had good money. I was making good income. I was working in a mortgage business. I got 100%. I bought a 2-fam, top and bottom. And then right around then, and I tell people this story all the time. I decided all right, now that I got my house and I got my place stable, I can move out of my parents' house. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to go become full-time real estate investor.
All
right. So I jumped in and got kind of going. And I remember there was a family. There was a husband. It was a daughter and a mom. And they lived downstairs from me, my first tenants. And I lived upstairs and everything was going good. And then before you know it, 2 months later, after quitting my job and renting to them, they stopped paying the rent.
Oh.
So I remember this vividly, bro. I remember just thinking to myself, how in the heck am I going to make this work? And I was no job, no income coming in, and I was having a bad tenant. And very quickly, I became what people call nowadays like a motivated seller. You know what I mean? Very quickly, I became the motivated seller because, dude, I had no income. And real estate investing wasn't taking off as fast as I could to keep up with my, my expenses. And at the time, my wife was pregnant. She was my wife then, but my girlfriend was pregnant, and it was like a lot of stuff happening. So, lucky for me, even with the stuff I had learned in just starting out in real estate investing, I did a couple of deals, and I just said, you know what, I got to find something a little bit more sturdy. So I didn't stay in the business. I actually got out of real estate investing. Right at that point. And I ended up selling my home on a short sale because right around that time is when the crisis hit.
And that was a duplex that you owned.
Correct.
So the goal was to pay your mortgage with the tenant's payment, correct?
Exactly.
And then you're like, well, shit, no income. How am I going to pay the mortgage? Damn, so short sale. Does that hurt credit?
Yeah, it does and it doesn't, I would say, man, because for me, and for a lot of folks that went through a short sale, you get to avoid the foreclosure. And that's what I always kind of lead with a lot of stuff. No matter what you went through, I feel people like it's embarrassing and all that other stuff.
No,
Life
it's
goes-
a learning experience.
Exactly.
It's a character building moment.
all that stuff that makes you,
Yeah,
that
feel better, yeah.
that you get it on when you go to the self-help section, right? It makes you feel good. But dude, life is gonna go on, man.
Yeah.
Life goes on, and I tell people all the time, man. There's always a solution. The challenge is like you got to find what's gonna fit. I was lucky because I found a guy that was in the real estate business, and he helped me. He happened to be a realtor also, and he helped me sell my property to short sell it because you could only use a realtor at that time. And show sold it, and I lost a bunch of money on paper, but I still have my credit to a certain extent. I was able to get out without owing the bank a bunch, having a deficiency judgment and all that other stuff. And then life went on, man.
You want to shout him out?
Yeah, if you're listening, Mike Matthews, he's up in New Jersey. He has a pretty good following up there. It's Orange Key Realty. He was a good guy. We're still in contact till this day, but Mike, he showed me, that when you find the right professional in your space, that's going to help you. Whether you don't have to be in tough times. It's just getting someone that knows what they're doing when you need them is going to be everything. Because the reality is, unless you do podcasts every day, guess what? You don't know how to podcast, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
come on, let's keep it real. So you got to give people grace. I don't expect to do the things I don't do every day. So find a professional, and that's what I did.
So moreover, then you sold that house short sale.
Yeah.
What was the next step in the journey?
Well, after that, I was pretty resilient, man. Like, I grew up in a family that, both my parents worked for the post office growing up, 9 to 5. I saw the hustle. I saw the grind. And I feel like I was lucky again, man. I'm probably the luckiest person you ever met in your life because I feel like no matter what happens to you, you got to take the things that were in front of you, like the lessons, right? And I've been pretty lucky. I don't have any, I still have all my arms, legs. I've never been sick ever in my life. You know what I mean? Like, those are things to be super grateful for. And my parents gave me a good example growing up of like, hey, you get up every day, rain, sleet, or snow, right? That's like the post office thing.
Yeah.
Rain, sleet, or snow, you just go put your pants on and go to work. And I think that's the if you could start that with a core, you're gonna be in a pretty good spot with what you're doing. And then everything else, man, you just build on top of that. That's how you're going to make it.
Did you go back to mortgages or did you do something else?
Well, what I did after that is I just jumped right into kind of building another business. So what I did is I kind of went I jumped on unemployment, which sounds crazy. It's the only time I was ever on unemployment my whole life.
How old were you around there?
I was probably like in my early 20s, maybe 24 or something like that. So I had very little work experience, relatively speaking, but I did a little unemployment. And what I would do with my unemployment money is I wouldn't stay at home and just collect the check and pay my bills. What I would do is pocket that, and I went and worked off the table.
Doing
I would do telemarketing.
no shit.
I did that too. I was one of the dirt bags that was selling the adjustable rate mortgages.
Oh, you were that guy. So we're gonna blame him for all of the demise.
I needed work.
Right.
No, but going back to that too, Damon, like, it even costs more money to have to evict the family. Like the family that wasn't paying their rent. I mean, to evict them is going to cost like 4 or 5 times whatever the rent even cost.
Yep.
So you're really in a tough spot. And then you can't just tell them, hey, you need to leave. You can't threaten them. You literally need to file an eviction, have an officer come there and remove them, which takes time. So, I mean,
3 months, right?
And if you don't have any income, you're really just like, I mean, there's not a lot of options.
There wasn't, especially the income part.
Yeah.
Because, looking back on it, when you say like, okay, well, if you don't have enough money to pay your mortgage and you're behind, how are you going to go spend a lawyer? And we're in a different state at the time. New Jersey's a very, it's a blue state, more litigious. It's way harder to get tenants out.
Yeah.
So I had to go through that process. And I'm just like, dude, just to get them out, it's going to take me months and it's going to cost me something, which I don't have at the time.
So the best thing to do was like, let me cut my losses. Let me sell.
Yep.
Let me get out of here. Let me reset and then keep it going.
Yeah. And you know what? And I think for a lot of people I've seen over the years in my business is like, I realize that that's where most people are. People, their circumstance is not you. Your circumstance is not you. Things happen. Life happens. I made, some poor decisions, like looking back on it, starting a business and having no income at the same time. in a new industry, probably not the thing to do, but a lot of people do it. So I always try to give people the benefit of my experience and try to tell them like, hey, that ain't the thing to do. I would have done it this way. And I think, in your situation, you could probably do it that way, right? But life goes on. And what you got to realize is that you take that, and then when you're in a situation, especially around real estate, there's always an out. This has been around forever. People have been living in houses for a very long time. So there's nothing that has happened to you or is happening to you that hasn't happened to somebody else 10 million times.
So Damon, just going flat out for the audience, what is real estate investing?
Well, I mean, to keep it really simple, man, there's a lot of different levels of it, but real estate investing is just taking it's just like any other investment. You're taking money or resources, and you're putting it into something to get a return. That's it.
Passive income.
Well, it could be passive. It could be more,
immediate,
like investing in flips or what have you. Or it could be something like equity share, where you're a little bit more passive, like you said, but you're still getting a return. It's just putting investment money towards something to get a return. That's what an investment is. And that's what real estate investing is.
So what specific strategies and niches did you decide to do in real estate investing?
Well, for me, starting out, I wanted to kind of make some money so that I could quit my job. That was the whole idea. So I started in wholesale real estate.
Gotcha.
And back then, bro, it was not what you see on. First of all, there was no YouTubers or podcasters talking about wholesale real estate. My first exposure was I went to a 3-day seminar down in Maryland with a buddy of mine, and it was me, Damon, probably early 20s, with a lot of a room full of about 55 to 60-year-old semi-retirees or almost retirees looking to supplement their retirement. That's what it was. And we were all sitting talking about these strategies, and there was one guy at the front of the room talking about, well, there's this new thing called wholesaling where you can just take a contract, and minds were blown like, oh my God, you telling me I don't need any money down?
You're going to sign it.
Yeah. And you can flip it. And that was like gold. And now everybody's like, oh yeah, it's a wholesale. Everybody knows it. Everybody talks about it, but the strategy works. The challenge, so I kind of get rolling here, but I think it's really simple. Wholesale real estate is just basically giving people an opportunity. If you're the person that's going to get into the deal, you're just getting a contract at a certain price and you're reselling it to a willing buyer at another price. And the reason why you're getting it at such a good price generally is because, as they say, there's a wolf at the door. You got something pressing that needs to get done, But other than that, I mean, most people aren't selling their houses.
Yeah.
They're not selling
They
their
didn't
houses
have to put any money in
wholesale.
escrow in order to get that contract accepted.
Which one?
Well, you said you get a contract signed by the seller.
Right.
Well, in order for the seller to accept that contract, don't you normally need to put some money in escrow to show that you're serious?
Yeah. But most of the opportunities that we see and we come across, you don't have to put a tremendous amount of money. That's, it's like
1% typically? Or
Not even.
Not even.
No, like $2,000 maybe.
Yeah. If not, I've seen $1, $500. Like it really all depends. But here's the thing. It's like, I think what we are conditioned to understand about real estate is what we see for real estate contracts, right? You'll see a real estate contract. Usually it's like $1,000, or if a seller wants, 5% down, you got to put 5% down. When you're talking with people that are looking to solve their problem, they're pretty much flexible with whatever, as long as you solve their problem. And that's the number one thing that real estate investing has to remember, or wholesaling has to remember. If you solve their problem, it's great.
And their problem is getting rid of the property.
Yeah.
They're distressed.
Yeah. And then, use me for an example. My problem may have been the house, the money, the financial problem was I couldn't afford it. But my real problem was I didn't have enough income. I had tenants that weren't paying, right? And I was in over my head because my property also had a little bit of repairs, deferred maintenance that would pop up. My oil bill would come. First time living there, my first winter, my oil bill, New Jersey.
What the hell is oil bill?
Exactly. So let me school you to this, bro.
I've never heard of an oil bill. Gas bill, maybe.
Okay, so I bought this house that was built probably in the early 1940s, and it was an oil tank above ground, and to heat the building, you had to send somebody, an oil company, to come out and fill up your oil tank. But the oil prices were fixed to kind of like regular oil, like oil and gas prices. So if oil was up, guess what was up?
Your oil bill.
My oil bill. So there would be times I would get, and I'm paying for both the units. So if I'm getting heat and my downstairs getting heat, and they're not paying, my oil bill's $400 one month.
Damn.
Back in 2004.
Yes, sir.
Which is a lot of fucking money back then.
It's a lot of fucking money. So when all that stuff starts happening and you start feeling all this, and then you're thinking like, oh man, how am I going to make this happen? Because before I was just me, now I also have a family coming. It's like, well, we got to figure something out. And all I could think of is, okay, I got to get rid of this bad boy as fast as possible. But that's my story. That's the story that most people think about.
Yeah.
You know?
No. And then after, so you went to the seminar with your buddy.
Oh, yeah.
And then you got out of there.
Yeah.
Or you had a whole bunch of old people trying to kind of supplement their income.
Yeah, yeah.
So then what happened from there?
Well, I mean, when I was sitting there that day, I looked at all those people and I was like, man, first of all, I know I could be successful because these people are old. Like, this is what I was saying to myself, right? Like, they're older.
I can run circles around these people.
I was like, see the guy in the corner, he's napping. Like, I can at least stay awake and I can figure this out, right? But, I saw this one dude. He was from Newark, New Jersey. He was another Caribbean dude, too. His name is Richard Douglas. Richard, if you're out there, another shout out in New Jersey.
By the way, I don't think the audience knows you're Caribbean.
Okay, well,
St. Thomas.
Yeah. All my Caribbean massive. Yeah. I'm Caribbean, man. I left when I was younger, but, it's like, I remember this it was a Jamaican guy named Richard, and he was just killing. He was mopping up Newark. Like, he had deals on deals on deals, and people were like, how are you doing it, Richard? And he was just like, yeah, I just talk to people. And I was just like, that's all I got to do? Talk to people? I said, man, I could do that, And I went out and I just started talking to as many people as I could. And I got a couple opportunities, and I did get my one deal. But what I realized after the fact is it wasn't as simple as Richard had kind of led on, which is usually the story with the people in the front of the room.
Always.
Right? It ain't the business is not so much about talking to people. It's the message that you get out as often as you can, because marketing is the key in any business. And I did not know that. So I got my first deal and I did all right. And then I struggled for a little bit, but as you go through life, you learn, you adjust, and then I came back fresh and new.
Then you were wholesaling the entirety of so when did you start? Did you start like 07?
Yeah, so I would say
when did you go to this conference, I guess?
Yeah, so I went to this conference early, in probably maybe 2006, late 2006, 2007. Then I had a job. I didn't quit my job when I got into the education. I quit once I started okay, I can do this. So then I quit. Then 2008 happened right after, practically 2008 economic crash. That was everything.
And we're going to pause right there, because when we get back, Damon's going to tell us the conclusion of that story.
Hey, let's go. Hey, if we want to go lucky, let's go to the casino. But we ain't gonna be lucky in this one. We gotta go to the video.
And no, what it is that you're seizing opportunity.
Okay,
there's a big difference.
Boom. Well, I'll take that.
The only thing that's lucky,
Yoda with the glasses. Is
the only thing that's lucky is winning the lottery. That's the only thing that's lucky.
I don't think those motherfuckers are lucky, bro.
No?
I don't.
Oh.
I think
because the last three have been in California.
Yeah, and I think those people usually end up broke as fuck. That's not luck.
They absolutely do.
That's not luck. I feel like those people are like plants, yo.
Well, they get to enjoy it for 2 years, though.
And the government gets half of it anyway.
Exactly. So what did you? That's like a casino.
Yo, give me $500 million. I'll turn that into $500 billion. I'm coming for you, Elon.
Give me $500 million, and I'll turn it into $250,000. I'm putting all that shit to work, bro. Spending it, doing everything.
Damon came up with a fucking punchline you'll never forget. It wasn't on the show, but we're gonna include it because it was so
Dude.
fucking
Yeah, I
good.
can put that on the fuck it.
Yeah,
Dude,
that's good.
Yeah, you guys, yo.
All right, actually, let's just keep going.
All right,
That's it.
just
Yeah.
so you
Everything's
know.
recording.
All right,
and
cool.
we're back.
All right, we're back, Damon. So tell us a little bit when we were reaching 2008, where you got your first deal, you're hustling, you still got your full-time job,
Yeah.
you're trying to get into this full-time. So what happens?
Economy
next?
crashes.
Yeah, economy crashes.
Yeah. So, I think early, like mid-20s, I panicked, bro.
Yeah.
Like, my parents, post office people, very consistent,
Yeah.
working for a living. And here I am taking this leap of faith. And then, with a kid on the way, and you're just like, what's going to happen now? So I was just like, I got to just cut bait. All the advice was just like, yeah. And all the news, the propaganda was like, the world's coming to an end. So I'm just like, all right, I'm out of here, So I just put it all in my real estate professional's hand, and I was like, okay, then I'm just gonna figure out how I can make some money. So what I did is I went on unemployment for a short stint just so I could have a little bit of extra cash. I didn't spend any of that. I just kept cashing the checks and having my money, and then I worked for a telemarketing company. And I worked as a telemarketer for the police.
Oh shit.
Yeah, we would call up and get donations for the cops. And I was just like, it's a recession. Who's doing this? But that's where I cut my teeth on getting really good on the phone, because I was always in customer service jobs. Yeah. But then is when I really got good on the phone and talking to people. And there's nothing harder than getting a donation for the police
in a recession,
in my opinion.
Was it a cold call?
Yeah, we would call up like random businesses or homeowners, everything.
You still cold call?
Like today?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I talk.
You don't skip trace homeowner where you're like, yo, that property ain't private.
No, me personally, I mean, our company,
I know you got an assistant. How many people work for you?
We're about like 14 people.
Holy cow.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So you guys are doing a lot of, what exactly are you doing right now?
What's my
core business? Because we only met in passing when Vince, I walked up to Vince and he's like, yo, you need to get him on the podcast. And we got a schedule right then and there.
Right.
But he didn't actually elaborate on what you did. What do you do right now? I know real estate investing, but what does that mean?
Sure. I keep it simple, man. I mean, I'm the CEO at this point
of Foxy Homes.
Foxy Home Buyer. And our company is a home buying company. You want to sell your home here in Tampa, here in Florida, call us. We're going to buy it. We're going to give you an offer.
It's like OfferPad type?
Yeah, like OfferPad. But here's the thing that I tell people. Would you rather sell to Walmart or would you rather sell to your mom and pop?
Probably mom and pop.
Right. And that's,
support small businesses.
Support small business. Yeah. Come see Mr. Foxy. You're gonna and here's the thing you're gonna get that experience that you're gonna get from us that you're not gonna get at Walmart, because with the other people, first of all, I'm gonna tell you what your home is more than likely gonna be worth if you fixed it up. Like, I'm gonna tell you that. I'm gonna keep it real.
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna tell you, well, okay, then this is how, if you want to sell it with, let's say, cash. The cash market for me is the same for everybody. OfferPad or whatever other name you want to drop. We all go to the same calculations. Now, I'm going to tell you how I get to my number, and then you can decide if you want to do that. Now, if that number, for whatever reason, maybe doesn't work, then the other option is, well, I have another strategy. Maybe we can look at more like a creative solution. Maybe you're doing some owner financing. Maybe you're leasing with an option. It all depends, because everybody's situation is different. Now, if those options don't really pan out and you feel like, I don't really want to do this, then we take you down another path. Maybe you want to do more like on the market, and that solution works out better for you to list it on the MLS with a realtor. We have our own relationships with realtors where I can put you in a realtor that's going to sell your home for less of a percent than you would pay with anyone else.
What would that commission be? Like 4%, 3%?
Yeah, our listing agent is only going to take 1 to 1.5%.
How much does the buyer take?
Well, you got to put it out there, whatever you decide. We usually recommend somewhere
2%.
around 2.5%.
Yeah.
So in total, you're in it at 4% versus 6% with a traditional agent. Just because you talked, and we talked through every scenario that was possible. Because when you come in, you're thinking, well, what first thing you think when you're selling anything is like, okay, how am I even getting the best price for this thing?
Yeah.
We start you there. Hey, let me tell you what your home is. If the condition that it's in right now, yeah, it might be that. But if you fixed it up and did everything, it'd be worth $400,000.
But you guys aren't paying retail, right? You guys are saying, hey, listen, this is still a business.
Correct.
We have to make a percentage or else we wouldn't be in business. I mean, are you looking at like 10, 15, 20%? Or is it, I'm just curious.
Yeah. Sure. So
you want to buy my house?
Yeah. I mean, I'll be glad to make you an offer. Right?
Because I actually took a phone call today where somebody called me up and said, hey, if we can make you an offer within 24 hours. I said, well, I'm looking to sell retail. And they said, well, if we could make you an offer, would you take it? I was like, I don't know. He already knew exactly where I lived,
right,
my address, exactly who I was. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let me see what the offer is.
Right.
To 24 hours. So I'm actually waiting to hear back. But then I told him, hey, it's got a brand new roof. I replaced all the carpet with laminate flooring.
Right.
He was like, all right, I'll send you a text with our offer within 24 hours. Is that kind of how you're... Did I get a call from one of your people?
Yeah, that was me. I called you.
Is it a 321 number?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
That's Orlando, I
No.
think, Kissimmee.
Yeah, yeah. And I would just text you because I have your direct number.
And then,
see, it's Damon.
And then he talk like this. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. That's a joke. Dude, no, he didn't talk like that.
No, but in all seriousness, that's kind of that's the space we're in because, it's a lot of different people doing a lot of different things. What I will tell you is, I guess the first question I'd ask you is like, why do you even want to sell your house?
See, he didn't ask me that. And I said, I do not want to sell my house. Okay. But then he pressed forward,
right?
And he said, well, if you did,
right,
would you sell it? I was like, I'm only selling it retail.
Right.
He was like, okay, well, if we made you an offer, would you accept it? I was like, well, I have to see the offer. Send me your email. I'm like, no, I'm not sending you my email. You can text the offer to my number.
Right.
It was like, oh, okay. And then he said my number, and I was like, yep, that one right there. He was like, okay, I'll have an offer to you within 24 hours. But then I took it a step further, let him know that I got a brand new roof this year and also replaced the car. Oh, anything else I need to know about? I was like, nope, that's it.
For sure. So
I don't want to sell my house, but shit, if they send me an offer that I can't refuse.
Right.
Okay.
if
I know the offer is going to be, 10, 20% below retail.
And that right there is the challenge with the market, right? Since the days of the seminar, people have a lot more access to information about wholesaling and real estate. And, good in, good out. Like you're getting trained to just go ahead and just give people the offer, but you're not educating people on why. I'm a living example of who, a motivated person could have been. Most people aren't motivated sellers. They are just homeowners. There's a difference.
Correct.
And I think what we have to, I don't know what, we've talked about this in like the space and talk about standardizing some of the, because I have other friends that are in the industry, standardizing some of it, but like wholesaling, real estate is pretty much like the Wild West outside of being a real estate agent. There's not a whole lot of oversight. And if you got a lot of people that aren't trained, they're just going to do what you experience. That's just the reality.
Which was what it seemed like was an unscripted call. If anything, I actually helped this individual come up with a better pitch.
Yep.
Because they didn't ask, since I've purchased the property, what have I done to the property in order to improve it?
Right.
Now, maybe it's not a bad idea not to ask those questions because they can give a value that is lower than what it actually is.
But here's the thing, right? Like,
do you get what I'm saying when I say that?
I do.
Yeah.
But the goal being is like, why are these guys calling? They want to make an opportunity. They want to make a deal, right? But if you are not a person that is looking to even sell their house, how can I make a deal? How can I make a deal? If anything, if I'm having a conversation with you, you know what that conversation looks like?
What?
Well, you're not really looking to sell your home? Oh, I totally get it. So if you're not really in the market to sell, does that sound about right? Yeah, I'm not. Well, okay. Well, if you ever decide that you want to sell, we're the number one, home buying company here in the state.
That's how that shit started, bro. That's exactly how it started.
But how to finish? If you ever, I would stop you at the point where it says, "Hey, I'm not really looking to sell." Totally get it. if you ever decide that you do want to sell.
Well, what he asked was, would you want to sell in a year? When do you think you'd want to sell?
Yeah. I can't preach to what everybody would necessarily say. All I'm saying to you is there's a lot of different angles that people take. But at the end of the day, if I'm talking to someone, I want to know not so much what's great for me, because I know what I got to do. I want to know what it is you want to do. And I'm the professional. If you say you don't want to sell your house, I'm not going to ask you to sell your house. I'm going to say thank you for letting me at least giving me a couple of minutes of your time. I tell you what, if you should ever change your mind and you want to sell and you want to know what your house is worth when you're ready to sell, give me a call. Give Foxy a call, and we'll be here for you.
Where'd you come up with that name? Because Damon Hart,
yeah,
Foxy.
There should be.
Is your middle name Foxy?
No, they should be synonymous. Because I know we're on a podcast. Some people might be listening, but they would think like, oh man, look at this guy, right? It's obvious, right? Right? That would be the easy thing.
Did you get it from Foxy Brown?
No, man. You know, it's funny because I tell people I married pretty well, bro. My wife, I was talking to her, and she's done a lot of things in her life as far as career wise, but she was the one who kind of nudged me towards Foxy because I said to her, I was Damon Buys Houses when I first started, and that was cool until they started snatching up all my my bandit signs, and everybody knew it was Damon. So I was just like, okay, I got to come with something a little bit more appealing, right? And I said, babe, what do you think about Sexy Home Buyers?
Sexy,
right? Like this is my marketing brain in circa like 2008, 9, right? And she says, dude, are you friggin' kidding me? Like, you're gonna offend everybody, and they're gonna think you're some kind of pervert. Like, I know sex sells, but not like that, right? So she says to me, well, give me a minute and let me think about something. And she came up, it's like, what about something softer like Foxy? And I said, Foxy Home Buyer. And I tried it on, and sure enough, you repeat it enough times, it sticks.
And it's easy to remember. We know somebody who started putting bandit signs that says Big Daddy buys houses.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about, right?
BD.
Big Daddy buys houses.
Sure.
No, bro, he wrote it on a fucking bandit sign. I'm not going to say who it was because I thought it was the dumbest shit I ever heard.
Uh-huh.
I think your wife got something going on there when she said, you know what? No, it's probably a bad idea. No, Foxy sounds cool. Sounds smooth
Sexy.
Jazz.
Late night.
Late.
Quiet storm. I get it. Yeah, man. Thank you.
Did you get a lot of calls once you? Because you said bandit signs.
Yeah. It's still no. I didn't.
Was this in Florida or still in Newark?
I was in between. Foxy didn't start. I didn't start till I came to Tampa.
Okay.
So when I was in New Jersey, I came down to Florida, and my wife was working at the time. She worked for IKEA, and I moved here. And I tell people, dude, come into Tampa, change my life.
It's hot.
I've heard it. I've heard it too.
Trajected me in my life. Well, not only is it hot, but here for real estate is like going to Harvard. Okay, because in Jersey, real estate is more like it's kind of like The Sopranos. It's like a quiet. Only a certain handful of people know what's going on. There's no public record. It's very, very insulated.
Illegal?
Yeah, I mean it's just Jersey. It's just the way it is. It's a loss. No public record. Like to find something, you got to go dig it out. Here, I came here. There's people doing assignments. There's doing wholesale. They're doing what do you call it? Lease purchases, land contracts, seller carryback notes. They're doing syndications, and they could have been doing all those things in New Jersey. Don't get me wrong. It's just there was just no what is the fancy word, like proliferation. There was none of that. Like it was just a handful of guys. Here, everybody has access to it. And that's what I loved about Tampa.
So that's equal opportunity.
Oh, dude. Changed my life coming to Tampa. Like, and that's why so many people flock here, man.
Oh, yeah.
That's why still.
Manny's got a statistic. Isn't this the most moved to city?
Yeah, I think the last time, just last year, they said it was 30,000 people over the year that moved here. So.
I believe it.
No, only 30,000?
I think it was 30,000.
Is it more than that?
I don't know.
I believe it.
It could have been more.
I mean, shit, maybe 30,005 5. I don't
Yeah,
know.
or maybe it was in a quarter. I don't know. Maybe it was 30,000 every quarter.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
I believe it, man.
But I mean, why wouldn't you want to live here? I mean, we got the beaches. We
Yeah.
got so much to do here.
You got Busch Gardens.
Got Busch
Get the
Gardens.
fuck out of here.
What's
man.
wrong with Busch
I know,
Gardens?
I'm just saying. I mean, people are going to move here for the beaches.
Well,
and
sure, but you got
no
an
state
amusement
income
park.
tax.
No state income
That's
tax.
what you-
Yeah,
That's
sure.
what you're gonna get.
Yeah, but I mean, you got amusement parks.
No, I mean, you do.
got
You got
zoos.
yeah.
You got the beaches. You
I mean,
got
we got
the
we got
beaches.
we got Disney. I guess you could say an hour
Yeah.
away from here
Yeah.
if
Well,
you want
I
to
mean,
go
if
do
you're
some.
facts.
traveling down I-4, it's
And
more
look,
like
and-
4 hours.
And
but-
I'll tell you this: I came from 2 blue states, man.
Mhm.
2 blue states, New Jersey, and I just moved back from California. You know what you got here?
They have to be fantastic.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna throw shit on the states, you know, because a lot of people live a lot of places. But what I will tell you is,
they're
look,
moving a lot away from there.
I
but-
will tell you this: what you got here in these red states, you got freedom, bro.
You do.
Yes.
You got freedom.
Capitalism.
We're still American. We're still American for as long as we can hold out. And I think there's so much more in the red states, man. It's not perfect,
Yeah.
but you could do whatever you want, man.
Yeah.
You could do whatever you want, and that's what people are after. That's why we live here. We don't live here to be robots.
No,
You
we
know
don't.
what I mean?
I think it's the Caribbean culture too. Like we're from Cuba, right?
Yeah,
So, or
Oh.
no, well, our parents are from Cuba.
that's the kind.
American.
I'm American. I'm American.
You don't want to claim
I
it?
bleed red,
No,
white, and
no,
blue.
I'm fucking with him.
He's fucking
No,
with me because
he
I'm
always
not
goes-
Cuban. I'm American. I was born in America, which means I'm American. I'm not Cuban. My ethnicity might be Cuban, but I'm American. That's what he was getting
Oh,
at.
okay.
Yeah,
All right.
because
Yeah,
I
'cause
say that
I'll-
shit all the time.
Yeah, because I'm always like, I'm proud to be Cuban American. You know, my parents are Cuban. Like,
For
I'm
sure.
proud of it.
For
You know,
sure.
but he's like, nah, fuck that. I'm American.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
it.
Yeah, because
And
when
that's
people
it?
ask me
Yeah.
what I am, they're like, "What are you?" I'm like, "I'm an American."
You
Because I don't say
claim
I'm
Cuba at all.
No, but then they say, "But what's your ethnicity?"
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know.
And then
Tan?
Tan.
What the fuck? No, but where are your parents from? Oh, okay, there we go. But it seems like what happens what happens is that a lot of cultures that come from overseas,
Yeah.
they appreciate the Florida culture because we were taught by our parents. Now, you were born in St. Thomas.
Right.
So you're Caribbean as well, and you kind of have similar views. I mean, it is a privilege, in my opinion, to live in this country.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, without a shadow of a doubt.
100%.
And actually, with that being said, we are going to go to break.
When we get back, we're going to ask Damon, what are the misconceptions in this real estate investing industry from all the audience out there that sometimes feels like they're scammy or scummy? Let's get the facts straight. We'll be right back.
Downtown Tampa is fucking nicer than San Diego. The only difference is
Weather.
it's bigger and there's a lot more people, and then you have like a different topography.
But isn't
like Tampa's flat, like you're
Yeah.
not gonna see shit.
Yeah.
But if you go and you look around, it's not like you're just like, oh my God, I'm in Hawaii. Like, you're not doing that. It's not that nice. There's fucking homeless people there too, bro.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Right as soon as you get off the plane, you go up the block.
Wait,
fucking
which one are you
homeless-
talking about?
San Diego.
Oh, San Diego.
Homeless motherfuckers everywhere. Like,
Same in Tampa, though.
that's what I'm saying.
Downtown, though.
That's what I'm saying to
Yeah.
you. It's like you could go downtown San Diego. There's homeless people too. It's not that fucking nice.
Well, what they say is nice is the weather. Like, it's like throughout the year, it's like what, 70 or no, like 80 during the day and 70 at night. Bro,
Yeah.
like if I get that all year here,
You love it.
I was born and raised we were born and raised in Tampa.
Let me tell you something. Just moved back there. That motherfucker ain't like that all year round.
No.
It's
Does it
40
get hot?
It's 40s, bro. It's this time of
fuck
year.
that.
It
Fuck.
starts November. It starts getting into the 40s and 50s.
I can't deal with that. man.
Okay, at night. Daytime, 60s, 70s. Why do you think you all see the California people? They all have like you ever see them?
beanies?
and-
Yeah, they have beanies and shit.
And they
It's
got
be-
always the jackets
It's
on.
because it's cold.
Yeah.
It's like New York is
Yeah, it's
different.
like it's like fucking. And you would think you're like in Southern California, close to Mexico. No, bro, it's cold.
That's what I
Tijuana's
think.
cold.
SoCal, bro.
It's cold.
All right. Let's get the podcast. We
I mean,
already ran.
We're rolling right now.
No, we're not.
Oh, no.
No, bro. You're the one who says we can't.
What are you talking about? He was only talking about San Diego and homeless people. There was nothing that was.
No, let's just start it right now.
All right, fine.
I want to see the homeless in San Diego shit though. I want that back too. Like I want all this stuff. Like send it. Like
I mean, I could send you the whole thing.
yeah.
You know what? We might as well just be fucking
I
on it
already
right
said
now.
it. It doesn't fucking
So
matter.
there was no intro.
Yeah. Okay. Welcome back.
No, but that's not even gonna fucking matter. I gotta edit this bitch, man.
10 minutes ago. Welcome back to Happy Hour Holidays.
Fuck it. You're right. You know what? Fuck it. Fuck
Let's
it.
But anyways,
Yeah,
hey,
fuck
but
it.
Love
so
it.
we were talking about San Diego and Florida and then all homeless
You know,
people.
talking about San Diego, you got a semi-pro
Mm-hmm.
flow
Mm-hmm.
surfer
Mhm.
son who is now 18
Yep.
that grew up on the East Coast like Kelly Slater.
For sure.
Well, you said you moved to Melbourne, right?
That's the East Coast. That
And
counts.
yeah, East Coast. Well, East Coast is Florida also, right? But
Yep.
and then y'all moved to California.
Yep.
Oceanside,
Yep.
which is just north of San Diego. And because you gotta surf with the best to be the best, right?
100%.
So how's your son doing? Is he crushing it, bro? Has he hit a 360 off the top of a white cap yet?
A 360. It's called an air reverse.
Okay.
360 on a white
Yeah,
cap.
well.
Wow.
Yes, he's done air revos for sure. Like that's like baby stuff. Everybody, if you gonna get anywhere, yeah, I know. Look at your face.
No,
You're
I'm
like,
talking about in the air.
yeah.
Oh shit!
yeah,
They're
he-
doing that on the reg
Yo,
already.
those are the.
I remember back in 2007, that shit was hard as shit.
Well, guess what? At 2023, if you're like 10
Oh,
years
yeah,
old, there's
yeah,
a kid on
yeah,
Instagram
yeah,
that's still
a good
doing
point.
that shit.
That's a
That's
good
nothing.
point. That's a good
But
point.
to say this, it's like, yeah, man, he's super stoked. We just got back from Bali not too long ago,
Well,
and we
yeah.
spent a month there training. Shout out to Yvonne. Elite Surf School.
Yo,
and-
go ahead, shout him out. That's fine.
Yeah,
It don't
and
matter.
we went out there and worked with Yvonne for a month.
Avon who?
Yvonne, you know, it's funny. I don't even know Yvonne's last name, but it's Elite Surf out of Bali, and just a great guy. And this guy was just like, the thing about surfing, and I'll jump right into this. It's like surfing is all about. It's like real estate. It's location. If you want to be great at surfing, all the great surfers you mentioned, Kelly, even though
Kelly
he grew up,
Slater,
even though he grew up here in Florida,
Cocoa Beach.
yeah, Cocoa Beach. He surfed Cocoa every single day and got his grind on. But then he went to Barbados, Hawaii, California, Indo, all these different places. He went and got good. That's how you're gonna get better. So for my son, his path has been a little bit different. He started Cocoa, then he went to California. Now we're back in Tampa, because we are coming back here as a family to regroup, and now he's going back to Indonesia
Oh
to
shit!
train.
Damn, he's going to the Pacific North
By himself?
Southwest.
Yeah, we'll be back there. As
Well,
a
he's
family.
18. He can go
Oh,
wherever
yeah.
the hell he wants.
Well, he already
right?
graduated high school too,
Yeah,
right? Oh,
yeah.
so he's like college years at
What?
this point.
So he
sure.
has competed in competitions.
Yes, he has.
What is his best place?
He's when he graduated, he ranked. He's like the top 25 out of all.
Has he
surfers
ever
in
gotten first
California.
place in a competition?
Yeah, he's done first place for sure. I think his best place probably like he's done first in a few contests. His best showing is probably like in a local contest. He did like second at another contest down in San Diego fairly recently. But as far as like overall rankings, I feel like if you're the top 25 amateur surfers in freaking the whole you stated the whole
The entire world.
no, the whole United States,
Oh.
because there's a lot of surfers.
Yeah.
But like for under 18, top 25, I say that's pretty good.
Do you surf?
Nah, bro.
Does it ever freak you out for your son?
Or like
'Cause-
sharks?
Yeah, for the sharks and shit. Because I mean, I've seen a lot of
That-
fucking weird. I mean, it freaks me out. Like,
Especially growing up
I
on
know.
the east coast of Florida,
I
you have
know.
all the black tip sharks that literally navigate the Gulf Stream and they migrate from the
Ugh.
north to the south.
Yeah,
And there's like millions of sharks
yeah.
that are just coming down, and your boy is just chilling
Like
in the
bait.
middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
I mean, has he ever been attacked by a shark? How about that?
No.
knock on wood.
Yeah, knock
Yeah,
on
yeah,
wood.
yeah. Well,
Grace
this
of God.
is wood. This is
Grace
wood.
of God,
Yeah.
nothing,
Yeah.
man. I will say that's definitely a concern that at least for me, that's
Yeah.
what we started with, being a non-surfer.
Yeah.
But he's not out there by himself.
Nah.
He's
And-
got other guys around.
Yeah,
him.
so the sharks got to pick somebody. Right? But the first thing that I noticed, like when we first started getting into it, is that, like anything, it's like the more you do it, the better you get, right?
Yeah.
And the first time we went out there, we're scared, afraid of everything in surf, and then a couple more times, and you just keep doing it until you realize that the ocean's a big place. Statistically, to get attacked by a shark, it's pretty rare.
Yeah. 100%.
It's just that we as people, we think of like the worst possible thing to happen when we're scared, which is here comes Jaws.
Yeah,
and he's jumping out and just eating everybody. You know what I mean?
Biting the back end of a boat.
Yeah. So that had to be overcome.
Do you ever talk to him about it? I'm just curious.
About sharks?
Yeah. What does he think about it? Does he ever say, hey, yo, Dad, like sometimes I'm out there and I'm like thinking to myself, this could be my last ride?
Yeah, nah, we had never had that conversation
No?
because my wife would never.
So
let
he
me
doesn't
get in the
even
water.
think about it.
Nah, man. For a surfer, dude, it is there's nothing like surfing. So like I say I don't surf, but
Snowboarding.
Like, I'm a pretty decent surfer. I never snowboarded, right? But like
I thought you said you never surfed.
that's what I'm saying. Like I'm not a great surfer, but I can surf. And I will tell you the first time I ever caught a wave, bro, it was like
Bliss.
it was like floating on air.
Heaven
There's
on-
nothing like it.
Yeah.
And when you get that, I think some people they just get hooked.
Yeah.
And he just did. There's just no other way to explain it.
Then at that point, they're probably not thinking about the risks.
Exactly.
They're just saying, you know what? Let me just catch that next wave.
Yep.
And that next wave. Because we bring up Kelly Slater a lot.
Yep.
Bro, that motherfucker's been surfing since he was 13.
Even
All right?
before then, I was
Or probably even before
Yeah.
that, but you said, I don't know, he turned pro.
that thing was when he left and turned pro.
Oh, yeah,
he probably
yeah.
was surfing since he's 5 years
and
old.
now
6 years
now
old.
he's like, what, 45, 50?
Almost 50 something, yeah.
Bro,
Yeah, he's
been
like-
skating for
Surfing.
30 surfing. I keep saying skating because I was a skater.
You're a skater,
Yeah. So let's call it 5 years old. For 45 years and not one shark has touched him?
Yeah.
It's a matter of odds. I mean, it's just, it can happen. If it doesn't, great. But if it does, you're a legend.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that you have to practice. It's your practice facility. I mean, unfortunately, there's no way around it. There's not a fucking ocean, a play ocean that you can surf and do this. You literally
Actually, there is one.
Huh?
fuck.
That's Kelly Slater's surf ranch.
Well, oh wow. So here's the thing. To your point,
Yeah, there is.
it's changing. It's changing.
It
It's
is.
like everything else. Kelly's is the most popular, but there's tons of them. There's a
He's the GOAT.
Yeah, there's a bunch of all around the world. There's wave pools, and they're building more.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
they're happening. The thing is just like people now.
They're building one in Miami.
Yeah, I heard.
Did you see that?
I even heard there was one coming to Tampa. I didn't even know about the one in Miami. Like that's how often it is because people want to catch that,
yeah.
right? Like
What-
even if you don't know, you're like, I want to be a part of that culture because this is a lifestyle.
It
Yeah.
is.
It is like being a guy that could just or a girl that could just go hang out on the beach and just do whatever. That's the California lifestyle that
That
everybody
they're
wants to
bringing somewhere.
capture.
You ever heard of Johnny Tsunami?
I heard the name. Yeah. Where's,
Come on, you know
where's
what
he
I'm
from?
talking
Yeah,
about, right?
it was a
Johnny
Disney
Tsunami,
movie.
bro. It was a Disney movie
Yeah.
back in the early 90s. It was a guy
Yeah.
who was a surfer who was
His
out of
grand-
Hawaii, and then his parents had to move him to the mountains in, I think it was like Michigan or some shit, and he started snowboarding. This is a movie, okay?
Okay.
So it wasn't real life or
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
like that. But, I mean, no, I get that. Have you seen the 150-foot wave off of Portugal
Yes.
that the guy surfed, bro? Surfed. That shit is insane.
That's
If
nuts.
your son was dropping in on that 150-foot wave, I don't know if you've seen the video. Have
Yeah,
you
I
seen
think
it?
I've seen it.
It was fucking remarkable. And we're not talking about surfing, on a 12-foot wave.
Sure.
I mean, there's waves within waves on top of that wave.
Yeah.
That shit was remarkable, man.
Yeah, that's magical, but like, yeah.
What if he was like, Dad, this is what I'm gonna do?
dude? The stuff in Nazareth, that's a tough one.
That is
man.
Nazareth. Yeah, Nazareth.
Yeah, that's a tough one because I'm still his dad.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if he wanted to go ride that and that's his life's pursuit, like it'd be hard on me, but what am I gonna do?
You can't do anything.
Yeah, it's like it's his life. Lucky for me, I don't think he wants to fucking surf a 150-foot wave. You gotta have a fucking couple of screws loose, bro. You really do.
No.
100%.
Nah, you gotta have that thrill, that adrenaline rush, man.
Yeah, those are the screws loose.
Yeah. That's not true. Why do people go skydiving?
Yeah, like when they talk about goalies, when you're a goalie, and they're like, yo, those guys are like guys that are just a little bit off. That's why you'll play goalie. Like, I feel like those guys in surfing are the goalies of surfing. Like, those are the guys that, like, they're going into Hawaii, they're going to Jaws, they're going to California, going to Mavericks.
Yeah.
They're just built different, man. And that's okay. There's a place for those people, but it's like a handful of guys. And there's some guys that try to live that life and realize very quickly it's life or death, bro.
Well, they've died.
Yeah. If you're not really built for that, I don't want my son to be built for that, and I do not believe that he is. But if that should happen, dude, all I could do is
Pray to God.
Pray to God and
support him.
And support him the best I can.
Well, what's your son's name?
His name is Sean Hart.
Sean Hart.
Yep.
I know this is probably a stupid question. Are you related to Kevin Hart?
I get it every once in a while.
I know it's a no, but
and the answer is nah.
I gotta ask it just for the gram. That's it.
That should have been. Let me rephrase that. There's a possibility because we may be cousins. I cannot confirm nor deny.
Because it's spelled the same way.
Exactly.
Hart.
Yeah.
We kind of got a little bit.
It was fun.
Derailed.
Yeah. Going back to the real estate investing.
Right.
Yeah, and we kind of
still doing that.
Unless you want to talk about something else, man. I mean, right now it's open table, right? Like, but fuck it.
I like real estate investing too.
No,
Let's talk about that.
Well, I mean, we were just going to one question because I know we had talked about it off air, and there's a lot of people out there with misconceptions about real estate investing and how some of the people are sleazy, whatever.
Sure.
But at the end of the day,
don't talk about your brother-in-law like that.
At the end of the day, it's not like that. It's we all have a job. I mean, you could say anything else. A sales guy that goes out and does door-to-door sales you could think he was sleazy, but he's just trying to make a living. Sure. And just like real estate investing, you're doing the same thing. So one of those misconceptions, Damon, that you hear a lot that people go, "Oh, you do this." Oh, so
yeah. I usually when I tell people, "Hey, I buy and sell real estate." Oh, you're one of those flippers.
Yeah.
Let me guess, you're gonna lowball me. It didn't work out. They canceled. I mean, those are just a few that I think off the top of my head. But here's what I would tell you, because I tell you again, I'm pretty lucky. I also had an opportunity to work at a car dealership here in Tampa.
Toyota? Tampa
was it called?
It was Volkswagen.
Oh, Volkswagen.
And these motherfuckers.
Now, those are the sleaziest motherfuckers ever.
And this is why I would tell you, I only lasted there 30 days because I was just like, there's no way.
Were you selling though?
Yeah, I was selling cars. Regular. I was just selling cars. I never had any car experience, and I sold 30 cars my first month.
Holy shit!
30 fucking cars.
One a day.
One a day. That was my thing, right? And I remember the reason I left. This is a good story. I went in there one day. I had two people coming in, and I'll tell you, this is all going to tie back into the real estate. I went in, and I had two people. One lady drive from Clearwater to come out and pick out a car because we had it on the lot. Another person that walked in. So I'm working with my customer. My lady's coming in from Clearwater to come and see this car. She shows up. I'm like, hey, thanks so much, Mary, for coming in. Car's all ready for you. Just go ahead and do your preview, and when you're ready to take it on a test drive, what have you, I'll do it. Sure, Damon, no problem. That's Mary.
I like it.
And then I have another guy I'm working with, a family, husband and wife. They're like, oh, we're buying a new Passat, whatever, blah, blah, blah. We're talking. We work that all through. Eventually, I get a call over the speaker. Hey, Damon, you got to come in here, blah, blah, blah. So I walk into the manager's office and say, hey, what's the problem? Hey, I understand you got two people. I said, yeah, I got two people. One lady drove from Clearwater. That's my appointment, and another person. We can't have you doing that.
Why?
Great question. Because the other lazy motherfuckers that are sitting there, because I'm hustling and working and trying to feed my family, they see that I got two customers and they're mad, so they want me to give me one of my customers to them.
No.
And I took everything in my power to not lose it. But I said to this guy, I said, look, man, not for nothing. You see how hard I'm working. Everybody's trying to split and jump on my deals. you know, because that's what they do when you're new. You're the new guy. So they say, oh, I'll help you out, but give me half your deal, half your commission. I said, no, I don't need that. I'm good, right? Now that's what everyone's trying to jump on my deal, but now you're literally stealing from me. And I was like, and car dealers, they don't make that much money.
No, they don't.
They don't.
Not as much as people really think.
As real as much as they think. You're pretty much working for minimum wage, and then if you sell a bunch of cars, then you make a decent wage. So that's where I was. And I said, dude, I was like, you really want to reconsider this. Like, I don't think this is cool. Like, you're stealing from me. Nope, you're going to do it or you're going to do it the way I tell you. Oh, yeah? 2 slapped windows later, I slapped the rearview mirror, and I cursed this guy up one side of the dealership to the other in front of customers and everything. Because the way I looked at it is, if I'm taking care of my customer and I'm taking care of the job, why are you hassling me? Why are you stealing from me? And I think that is the center of like what people think. Like those kind of people, those sleazeballs, those are the type of people that people believe that are on the phones. And I will tell you, the majority of the people that you run into in real estate investing that are sleazy, that come across real pushy and don't know what they're doing, it's not that they're bad people. They're just not trained.
They are lazy.
No.
They're just not
trained.
Yeah. And that's the reality of it. Now, does that make you feel better as a customer? No. But just understand those people have never been trained. Just like the car salesman guy that went in there and they just wanted to take all the deals and they just felt like it's their thing to do. They're just not trained.
Okay. When we get back from break, we'll touch on a little bit more on this topic. Thank you. Like, comment, and subscribe. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Happy Hour Holidaze, your go-to podcast for business, entrepreneurship, and life stories. Yeah, Damon's got the idea. So, Damon, what's your ideal customer for your business?
Yeah, for us, it's really simple. I mean, you have to own a home. We do really great with people that just are looking for a solution to sell their home, whether it be fast, whether it be slow. And, you know, I tell people it's like you can go talk to a realtor, and a realtor, their only option is going to be, hey, put your property on the MLS and see what happens. For everything else, call us.
Perfect. Do you use professional photography?
When we buy houses?
When you sell them?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Of course.
Who do you use? Don't answer that question.
I mean, we use a few different vendors, but I would say, you know, I mean, people.
That's it. No. Let's cut it.
I'll put it like this. I'll put it like this. We'll drop some people in the comments. How about that?
How about that?
Yeah. You got to tune in to get the info.
So, Damon, when we were first talking, we were kind of thinking, hey, you know, wholesaling was brand new during that time. There wasn't a lot of information on it.
Right.
What are your thoughts on the future of real estate investing? I mean, we've seen a lot more syndications with people like Grant Cardone, you know, doing more things like that. But what else do you see within this space that can continue to grow?
I think, you know, and this is what we're focusing on. Focusing on the education of the homeowner is paramount, in my opinion. Like the more that you can get information out to the customers and show them that they have options in the midst of all this noise that's going on the internet, I think that's got to be the industry standard, because they're already being bombarded with messages and people calling them, like, but everybody's asking for something, but no one's telling them anything.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. And then when you're giving out evaluations, when you're giving your cash offer, do a lot of people go back to, well, Zillow says my house is worth this much? I mean, obviously Zillow is like 25% off most of the time. Mm-hmm. We learned that in regular realtor school, that if a customer is saying, hey, Zillow's telling me my house is worth 1.5 and you're telling me 1.3, why is there such a big gap there?
Sure.
Is that something that you encounter as one of the big objectives when you're kind of giving out cash offers as well?
Yeah, 100%. And our offers, you know, it can be a cash offer, which is usually for someone that just wants to have something fast and get done, right?
Yeah.
It's just like anything else. If you want something fast, it's usually not going to be, it's going to cost you.
Yeah.
So just know, if you want something fast and get it done, it's going to probably be a little bit less, but with the Zillow thing, I mean, I tell people all the time, Zillow is a tech company. They're not in the accuracy business. They're in the just give you something. Yeah. And Zillow, let's keep it a buck. They're really going to their goal is to take over all of real estate.
Everything.
Guys, hands up, anybody? Like, you guys, we're all whoring out to Zillow to a certain extent, but guess what? They want to just own us at the end of the day.
Well, they tried and they failed miserably with the whole, I buy your house. Now they bought too many houses at too high of a value, and then they ended up closing that department. So just for you people out there that do use Zillow, they're not the best.
Right. And maybe if you sold your house to Zillow, you're not thinking so much. You're like, that wasn't bad. I got more than I probably wanted, right?
Yeah, I know, right?
Zillow is good in a certain way, but like for knowing what your home value is, I mean, there's nothing more accurate than talking to someone that has access to recent sales. That's what we can offer customers. That way, at least you know, right? You're like, okay, because most people, they're reasonable. They're not crazy. No. It's just they just want to know. Yeah. And if you don't try to hide behind the wall, the cloak, and try to be sneaky, most people will tell you. One of my first customers, dude, her name was Julie Williams, and she's like, 4 or 5 investors came over. One guy offered me too much. One guy offered me too little. But you came over and you said, okay, this is what I think it could be. If you fixed it up, here's what I offer you. Do you know, almost freaking 10 years later, I could call this lady right now and she'll pick up my phone call? Why? Because I was honest with her. Yeah. And that's what we've been able to do over time. You know, is just be honest with people and give them as much information. Now, if they decide that they want to do it, great. If they don't, guess what? They're not my customer anyway. But the beautiful thing about us is I could still at least give you a way to sell. Maybe you work with one of our agents because going on the market's one of the better things to do.
Are you only going after residential property, or are you also going after commercial properties with your real estate investment? Because during COVID, you saw a drop in commercial value because there was less offices being rented.
Right.
You know, people were working from home. And really, that may have been a point in time where investors could have gotten a lot of good deals from commercial properties. So are you mainly just residential or also commercial?
Our focus has always been residential. It's two different worlds. So we focus on residential mainly, and residential commercial we do as well. But, you know, most of our take is just
have you thought about commercial?
On the commercial residential side?
No. Well, can you explain what you mean by commercial residential?
Commercial residential is apartments, you know, things that people live in. Commercial real estate is stuff like self-storage, offices. Yeah, things that aren't people living in them.
So like this building that we rent, right? Yep. There's probably somewhere in the neighborhood of like 35 to 40 suites. And I heard that it was somewhere in the neighborhood that the owner is making like $125K in revenue in rent. That's passive income. Now, of course, you have to subtract, you know, the mortgage from it, and then you get your gross net profit or your gross profit.
Right.
I mean, is commercial not a bad idea to start pursuing? Because now that you have interest rates through the roof,
right?
I mean, not a lot of people, unless they're buying in cash, not a lot of people are actually pursuing this kind of market, and it may be a little bit easier to attain. I mean, you have LoopNet. You can go on LoopNet. You can find all these properties that are for sale. I mean, what's your take on commercial? Other than, I understand that you guys don't pursue that commercial, not commercial residential. What's your take on that?
Well, I mean, I will tell you that I don't know a ton about anything outside of commercial residential. Yeah. So I can't really speak on it. But I think there's opportunity in any market that there's a downturn. There's always opportunity. So if things are high one place and you can find out a way to get it low, you're going to win. So I don't think there's ever a bad place, especially in real estate. The game that we're going to play is going to be long term, because you never lose long term in real estate. So if you can secure yourself in anything long term in real estate, you're going to be all right.
So then, you know, going back to then commercial residential, you mentioned apartment buildings. Is that something that your company actively pursues?
Yeah.
And then is it a commercial residential property that is managed by a professional property management company, or are you guys doing the own property managing yourselves, or how does that work?
For the holdings that we have as a company, because what's unique, and here's a little secret about most real estate investing, most of them, nobody's just investing their own cash. Like the guy's not doing
OPM.
Yeah, it's other people's money.
Yeah.
So when you're doing that, you got to understand, like, I'm the operator. I'm the person that's making sure all this stuff happens, but I'm using other people's money to make all this work. When I do that, I just got to get a return. So my best way of getting a return is going to be to self-manage. Oftentimes, if we buy a big enough project or we get into a big enough project, we're going to use other people's capital to do that. But or other people's management to do that because it just makes sense. Like I got right now an offer for a 60 unit in Daytona, right? 60 unit low rise. So are we going to secure that? We're running through the numbers to decide if we're going to secure that or we're going to pass that on to one of our other investment partners that we have a relationship with that are looking for that type of product. So that's the kind of stuff that we do. But at the end of the day, it all starts with a conversation. What do you want to do with your asset? Right? You have this house. What do you want to do with it? You have this low rise. What do you want to do with it? That's where you come to us. When you feel like you're stuck in the box, call the Fox.
Have you? I love it. Have you thought about maybe purchasing a plot of land in a medium to highly desirable area and building apartment complexes? Where instead of having to purchase those 60 units, maybe you could build 120 units for the same cost, depending on the location and how much the land costs.
That's a super specific question, and the answer is nah, I haven't. I've been thinking about other stuff, like straight up. But like, yeah.
But building is the most profitable, isn't it? Yeah. Because even if you build it and you don't rent them all out, you can still sell it as commercial residential, right?
I think it depends, right, on your exit. Every exit is different, and your question, the picture is pretty specific that you're painting, but the end all result is, you can do anything as long as it makes sense to you. Like if that person is buying, if I'm buying and I'm capitalized to go and buy that type of asset, if I'm going to look after that, I'll do it. If I'm investing, say I'm working with, a group of, NFL players or NBA players and their management wants to come and work with me and they want to buy certain type of assets in one specific class, then I can go and do that. And I know what their return is going to be and I can deliver that. It all depends. But in its simplicity is like what we focus on is getting to the sellers. The sellers of those assets and saying, what is it that you want to do? And we're the ones that's going to help you take care of that. That's all our focus is.
Does your company own a lot of residential properties that you guys don't want to sell and just use them as passive income?
Yeah, we have holdings.
Yeah. How many doors? If you don't mind saying.
I don't confirm or deny the specific number, but I will say this. We have a decent amount of holdings here in the state of Florida, both privately and jointly, and some international.
Do you guys go outside of the state of Florida? I know internationally, but do you guys go outside any other state? Like say maybe a Texas or an Arizona?
No, we're all Florida.
All Florida?
All Florida.
So Jacksonville, Miami, Naples, Fort Myers, Tallahassee, Polk County. Yeah.
Those are all in Florida.
Yeah, no shit.
And if Florida goes under, or if it goes single, we're in trouble.
If
Florida goes under, everybody else is fucking in trouble.
Florida, I mean, is the most moved to state in 2022.
Yeah.
I mean,
100%.
There's no way, statistically through NAR, this is what they said, the most moved to state in the entire United States was Florida and Texas. Those were the two. I mean, if either of those go under through the housing market, I would be shockingly surprised. I mean, literally where I think maybe deals could be, and I'm not a real estate expert, would be the places that they're moving from, because that means that there's a high supply and a low demand because nobody wants to live there. Like you said earlier, blue states.
Correct.
So how do you approach your risk management within your business when it comes to buying, holding, Is there like resources or a tool that kind of gives you the best output, or is it just team meetings that you guys go over all your holdings and your assets and kind of make a decision? Hey, we're going to sell this one off. I think we've gotten a good percentage in return, or do we keep it for passive income?
Yeah, that's a great question. For us, it's always just been for the holdings. It's just looking at trends, and if we see like, hey, we're going into like right now, I'd say we're going more into the trend is we're going more into a recession, right? For sure. I think it's clear to everybody. So we're just looking to secure assets that we can hold during recession times that are going to perform. You know, if you have an asset that's in a great neighborhood and the rents are pretty reasonable, those are the ones we want to hold on to. Airbnbs and all that other stuff, right? Like that are kind of like that mid-grade, not the high-end stuff that's pretty much inflation-proof. The middle stuff, we don't have any of that anymore. Where we
you
did
said
in previous
Airbnbs.
years.
I mean, is that like a bad investment?
I would say, you know,
or is that a high risk investment?
Yes, it is because it's in mid-grade. And we saw that during COVID time, right? We're talking about Airbnb specifically. If you had an Airbnb in 2022 and it wasn't in, you know, Scottsdale or some destination where people wanted to travel and they could afford to travel, right? Had the means. What's your Airbnb do? It's nothing. No. And I think those are risky because those were the people that were like, oh my God, I got to get rid of this thing, or the rents weren't coming in and they had to do all this finagling. I think that's a dangerous business to be in because what history has shown us is like when people are struggling, they ain't taking vacation. They're not going to Airbnb. No. So I don't want to be in that business, especially going to recession proof. So right around that time after we got out of post-COVID and we saw like, okay, things are stabilizing, got them stable, got the heck out.
What about like Orlando around Walt Disney or even where's Walt Disney in
Kissimmee?
Oh, in California.
In California.
Anaheim? I think it's in Los Angeles. Yeah, close to Los Angeles. Yeah. Anaheim.
I mean, owning places and tourist destinations that, you know, may suffer a loss, but you know people are still going to go there.
Are still going to go. Well, yeah. It depends, right? Real estate is all about time, right? It's location. It's also time. So if my goal is to get a certain return in a certain amount of time, and maybe I don't want to be sitting in an Airbnb when I got to go exit because I want to take money out to send my kids to college, maybe that's not the investment I want to be in.
Or to buy another property.
To buy another property because I'm going to get slaughtered at that amount of time. So I think it all depends. For real estate, you just got to know where you're looking to exit. But the good thing about it is you're not really going to lose because one magical thing we got about real estate that very few other, investments have.
Take money out of it.
Oh, that?
Equity
and finance. But it's the big D, baby.
What is that?
Good old depreciation. The big D.
Wait a second. Depreciating a property?
Depreciating.
But they all appreciate.
Oh, yeah. But for the tax purposes, we can depreciate an asset every single year.
Yeah.
I did not know.
We do it with our vehicles on our balance sheet.
Yeah. And that's just your vehicles. With good old real estate, I mean, you're talking about a higher amount of depreciation because the asset's usually worth a little bit more, right? Whatever you paid for it, what have you. You can take financing out that you can take a loss against whatever interest you're paying, right? And repayment. Then you get depreciation on the balance sheet. So whatever income you're pulling in, that's dropping that number down. That's why they say the most wealth is made in real estate. Why? It's because you have all those other vehicles pulling your income down. All the interest or the income you bring is coming down. That's why real estate's so popular in our tax structure. So that's why it's so juicy, and that's why it's the place of the wealthy, because real estate can do that.
Do you own another business other than your real estate investment company?
Yeah.
Care to share? Or?
Yeah, we own some ancillary businesses. Like we own a property management company.
Well, it makes sense.
Yeah, right. One and the same.
Well, it's probably a separate LLC, I'm assuming.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
And then a holding company owns both.
Correct.
I would assume, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, guys, tax structure. How did you know about this when you didn't know about depreciation?
Well, I didn't know you could depreciate
assets,
real
bro.
estate.
Yeah, it's an asset.
Because it's not depreciating, it's appreciating.
It's a tangible asset,
yeah,
but
at the
you're
same time.
depreciating it because of maintenance.
I did not know.
Okay.
I did not know.
So I'm
the reason I know this is because we've interviewed not tax law, but business attorneys and things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, things of that nature. So, I mean, other than the property management, the real estate, do you own anything else? Or?
Yeah, we're venturing.
You're saying we, so you have a partner.
Yeah,
I got a wife.
Yeah,
my
my wife doesn't do.
Yeah,
she's in my regular business, like in my everyday.
Damn, we got
business.
52 seconds.
All right.
So, Damon, can you leave our audience? I mean, real estate has been all around the world. Everybody's super interested in it. A lot of wealthy people. I mean, since reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I realized real estate was the way to go. So you obviously picked one of the best industries you could possibly pick, and you were also very successful on it. So can you tell a lot of the young people or somebody who's just starting out or whatever you want to kind of tell the audience to feel that connection with you on, what can they do to maybe persevere through life or to get to the point where they're happy or just do something that they're passionate about? Like, what's that last little dose of, inspiration you want to leave our audience?
Yeah. I think it's just one that I got from a book. It's called Slight Edge, the guy named Jeff Olson. And it says, just show up every day and just try to do a little bit better every day, because over that, and it sounds cliche and kind of corny, but even if you're struggling with the real estate issue and you're looking for solutions, if you just chip away and get a little bit of information every day, you'll ultimately get to a point where you make a decision. I think where we get in trouble or we feel frustrated is if we try to figure it all out at once by ourselves or have to make a decision under pressure. It doesn't have to be like that. Life is about taking your time, figuring out what it is you need to do. And I think one of the best ways to do that is to get with a professional that knows what they're talking about and can help you, that you trust.
That's as well said as you can say, man. And thank you, Damon, for coming on our podcast, man. We really appreciate it. We had we could probably talk for about 4 or 5 hours. We can make this
kept going.
We can make this like an 8-hour session. So, man, we
course.
really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
thank you for listening and watching Happy Hour Holidays. You can locate us on Spotify, all the major podcast stations. Check out our shorts on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Thank you, and make sure you build your dream because it's out there. You just got to find it. Peace out.